If your makeup looks pretty in person, but it's not showing up on photos, you are 100% not layering your makeup properly. I'm a makeup artist and I know how frustrating it can be when you feel like you've put in all this hard work. You take the photo and you're like, where the fuck did my makeup go? So this routine has been perfected to actually have your makeup show up like a professional makeup artist did your makeup. And every single photo you take, I want you to feel like you absolutely ate and slayed that photo. Starting with the Road Glazing Milk, it's just too good to not have this as my base product. It's the best product underneath your makeup. Look at that glowy base it just gave me in like 3 seconds flat. You want to do your brows at this point so none of the makeup gets pushed into the brow. I like to just comb the fronts up, wait for it to get a little bit tacky, brush the product through the rest of the brow, and it gives me this perfect shape. If you want a glowy finish to your makeup, you're gonna go in with the Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. The reason why everyone uses this, it's literally a filter in a bottle. The most perfect texture you need before your makeup. I'm putting some liquid bronzer onto the back of my hand. Don't be afraid to use a heavy hand with this. One of the reasons why your makeup is disappearing in photos is because you're literally not putting enough. Also, we're going to be putting concealer, foundation, and blush on top. So really just like go to town on this bronzer because it's what's going to sculpt your face. You want to go in with a really beautiful, natural, but full coverage foundation. If it's too much coverage, you're going to feel cakey and you're not going to feel good. If it's not enough, it's literally just not going to show up in photos. I put this on where I don't have bronzer, and there's a reason why this Armani Luminous Silk Foundation is tried and true for so many makeup artists. It really is that second skin product. We're gonna go in with a really nice concealer. This one's from Natasha Denona. It is one of my favorites. A little bit of this rose shade in it, so it's really gonna do well to color correct the blues and purples under my eyes. This is gonna be my first layer of concealer because I'm extra. I like to top up and do my double concealer technique, which so many of you have commented it has changed your life. I'm taking the edges to start blending, so I'm not picking up the product in the middle. So it keeps the coverage right in the center where I need it. Make sure not to go up too close to your under eye. That's how you get fine lines increasing no matter how old you are. It's best to just not put product there. Obviously, this is no beauty filter, and I'm really like, this is looking like the beauty filter. To hold everything in place while we move on to eyes, I'm just taking a little bit of this Fenty Invisimatte, and I'm gonna pat until it's not sticky anymore. I'm just gonna swipe. Pat until it's not sticky, and then you can swipe. This is just like a dusting, like a preset before I go in and like do my powders and bake. I just think you're not doing your eyes properly, and that's why your makeup is like disappearing in photos. This is like a bronzer from MAC Cosmetics, the shade True Harmony, and it's really so beautiful because it's not a bronzer and it's actually a blush. It's gonna have a little bit of more peachy tint to it, and it's gonna really bring out your eyes. You can just keep pulling up and dragging out and blending it into each other, which is really gonna be beautiful when you take your photos in flash photography if the eyes aren't just like this stark thing in the middle of your face. And I always want to bring it up and out towards the temple, putting it under your eye. I just think once again, this creates so much depth and dimension, just makes your eyes look so much more smoldering and beautiful. Now that we have our base on our eyes, I'm gonna go into a really dark brown liner. Putting my pencil here and pulling out gives you the perfect angle every single time. Then depending on your eye shape, you can fill in that negative space. I'm lining my full waterline, bringing it in a little in the inner corner, leaving this space right here because I like mine to look very snatched. I like to take this round domed brush. This is the Morphe M301 brush. Smudge this out a little bit. Whatever is left over in the brush, I'm just bringing that into the lash line and connecting it all the way up. You can already see, like, holy shit, you guys. Who is she? This is like nice, sweet girl. This girl might literally ruin your life. Just remember, sisters, not twins, but the main takeaway from this is start your line where your eyelids connect. Take it in your inner corner, line the waterline, and you smudge everything into each other. I'm gonna cover most of that skin peeking through. Look how pretty that was. I love it. Go in and curl your lashes. Do not skip this step. If you haven't tried lash primer yet, you need to try this. It's gonna ensure that your lashes actually hold that curl. I have very straight lashes, so this lash primer has been a game changer. I'm going with the Extend Play Giga Black Mascara from MAC. And then here's where I like to go in with a little eyeshadow brush. Bring this bronzer like up into the brow. Here's where you're really gonna see like a big difference in your photos. Your bone structure is just gonna look super snatched. And working in these steps is gonna help so you don't lose any of the dimension in your face. Just use any brush to pat this in. You can use your sponge. It doesn't have to be super precise. and just blend everything into each other. I'm going in with this brand new shade from Patrick Ta. This is the shade She Goes to the Gym. A little bit of the powder on a big fluffy brush. If you never want to swipe, you just pat this all over my cheek. I was waiting for him to launch some new shades because they got rid of so many like OG, really beautiful shades. A little on the nose here. I like to bring my blush onto my forehead. A little bit onto my chin. You're gonna go into the cream side with a sponge and just bring this cheek to life. Look how beautiful that looks. Once again, on the forehead and on the chin, just so everything is nice and cohesive. Here is where my double concealer method comes into play. So I'm taking my Hourglass concealer. This is the shade Fawn, and I'm putting a little bit onto the back of my hand. My favorite concealer brush has been the Sephora number 14. It's actually an eyeshadow brush, but I use it for concealer, and I'm just picking that up and priming my brush with this. I'm concentrating that product just in like an upside down triangle right under my eyes here, and then bringing it up to snatch the face. These little layering techniques and subtle differences is what's going to take your makeup to the next level. You want to highlight the areas like your chin, around your nose, and a little on your forehead. If you're prone to creasing, you need to make sure at this point that you have 0 creases under your eyes before we're gonna go in and set. I promise if you use my priming concealer technique, you are not going to have creasing. Taking the shade Fairly Pink from Makeup by Mario, it is so nice and quickly has become one of my favorites this year. And I'm actually gonna pick this up on my sponge, push this into my hand for the excess product, and look into the mirror, and this is how I love to bake. Look how bright and beautiful this powder makes my under eyes. Like, hello? This is really, like, I'm telling you, baking like this, like, people are gonna be like, who did your makeup and where did you learn that? Because your makeup looks insane. You can go under your jaw, always stunning. But full glam like doesn't have to be intimidating. And if you want the same look, but just like less full glam, just use like less coverage products. Use a skin tint instead of a full coverage foundation. Use a lighter hand and concealer, or just maybe one layer of concealer. Use a brown liner instead of black. Like there's little things you can do, but these techniques is what's gonna take your makeup to the next level. I'm going in with She's Seductive. I'm just pressing this all in. It's gonna marry my blush into my bronzer. I really wanted to try this shade as well, but if you don't have access to both because they're super expensive, literally just use your powder bronzer, but I just like this one because it's like a bronzer, so it's not gonna be too ashy on me. You guys know I've been loving wiping off my bake with a blush, so I'm actually just taking that same shade, She Goes to the Gym, and just bringing it right up into my under eye. If there's one thing that'll help pop your face in photos, it is filling in your brows. Like, I know you were skipping this step. I know you are. Let's not do that anymore, because there's a way to fill in your brows without having it look overfilled. Just line at the bottom, just bring it up a little higher, that spoolie on the end, and just brush all of that through. And then go back in with your brow gel. I like my brows to be fluffy, but defined and put in place. I know that you girls are scared to do your eyeshadow, so the best thing to make your eyes actually pop in photos and not just disappear is to add a liquid or cream shadow. This is absolutely stunning. It's Dazzle Glass from MAC. I just like to put some on my palm, and I pick it up on my finger, press this onto my lids. How beautiful. Hazel eyes, brown eyes, green eyes, blue eyes. This is just gonna draw any warmth out of your eyes. Actually, come on, like, and if you're prone to watery eyes right here at this stage, I want you to go into the darkest brown of any palette that you have, and you're just gonna set that liner. We were thrown a lot of curveballs this year, but something that we were blessed with is Cool Spice from MAC, and it's absolutely delicious and beautiful nude. We are layering our lip, and that means we start with a lip stain. Been fixated on this lip liner from NYX called Too Blessed, and it just makes everything a little touch brown. This is like a beautiful creamy pencil, and it just adds like that little bit of depth and a little bit of warmth that I need. Further add some definition to my nose, a little faux freckle, just like a tiny little bit, and then going over the beauty marks that I naturally have. What's gonna really catch the light in photos is doing a glossy, juicy lip. This is Desire from Hourglass. It's gonna tie in everything really beautifully. Like, hello. And once everything is on, you need to make sure this shit stays. So we gotta use a heavy duty setting spray. Here's the final result. This is how I do my glam when I'm going to a work event or I'm really trying to stunt. I want to take these fire Instagram photos. This is the makeup tutorial you're gonna download, study, and do over and over with me. We got this together. I want you to feel like the baddest bitch on earth. I love you so much. Bye.